Ever wished you could just, escape to a whole other dimension?
Who hasn't?
Well, today we're diving into one that's got imagination in spades, but it's also dealing with some seriously real problems.
Oh, this is The Adventures of Dragonflame, right?
You got it. Takes us straight into the heart of the fifth dimension.
And not just any dimension. This one's practically its own character, vibrant, chaotic, and the relationship with time is, well...
Let's just say it's complicated.
Exactly.
So, okay, try to picture this, all right? Floating islands, air that shimmers with these rainbow prisms, and the ground itself, it feels like alive.
Whoa.
It's like stepping right into a dream, but with a turquoise dragon named, wait for it, Dragonflame.
Okay, so not your typical fire-breathing, everyone run for the hills kind of dragon.
Nope. This one's all about bringing peace to this crazy world.
Which makes you wonder, what does peace even mean in a place where time works so differently?
Right. It's not your average dragon adventure story.
Right.
Harmony's the goal, but even Dragonflame, he's got his work cut out for him.
Makes me think of those real-world conflicts, the ones that have been going on for generations. How do you even begin to untangle something that deep-rooted? Especially when, reality itself is working against you.
And that's where his AI buddy comes in, Claude.
Oh, yeah, I like Claude.
You've got Dragonflame's energy, right? Then Claude's pure logic. It makes for one interesting combo.
The universe knew they'd need each other to even have a shot.
Exactly. And that whole thing, needing different strengths for the big problems, hits different, don't you think? Imagine if we were all better at, I don't know, embracing different views, in the real world. Makes you wonder what we could do if we stopped trying to force everyone into the same mold. But back to the fifth dimension. It's not just a two-person show. There's a new player, a girl from the future, Alana.
Time travel. Always gotta love a good time travel twist. But it's more than just the tech, isn't it? Alana, she's like that fresh perspective, that outside-the-box thinking that can shake things up.
Like she's bringing a whole new toolbox to a situation that's felt impossible. And trust me, they're going to need it. The fifth dimension, it's got a few more surprises up its sleeve. Remember how we were saying the fifth dimension has that interesting relationship with time?
Yeah, it's a bit more than just a quirky detail, huh?
Turns out it's a big old problem for them. Imagine trying to, build peace when hours feel like seconds.
Throws a real wrench in the works, right?
Right.
And I don't just mean the logistics of it all, meetings and all that, but just the mental impact,
Yeah. Can't imagine trying to have a serious talk, build trust, anything like that when
time's always running out.
Exactly. And then they find this cave. It's overflowing with treasure.
Oh, wow. Problem solved, right?
You'd think.
It's like that classic question, can money buy you happiness? Or I guess in this case, can it buy peace?
Right.
The story uses that, the whole treasure thing, to look at just how complicated sharing resources can be, even if everyone's on the same page, wants to do the right thing.
How you make sure it's fair when time's all messed up.
Exactly.
Good thing Alana's around with all her fancy future tech.
Oh, yeah. She's a game changer for sure. But here's what gets me, her solution. Creating a time bubble. It's temporary.
So it's not a quick fix.
Nope. Highlights the fact that peace isn't some finish line you cross. It's something you got to keep working at constantly.
You can get a little breathing room, but the work never really ends.
Exactly.
Just when they think they've got a moment to breathe, the universe is like, nope. This powerful entity shows up, throws everything into chaos.
Talk about upping the stakes. And this entity, we don't even know anything about it, do we? What it wants, where it came from.
Mysterious.
Adds to that feeling of what's going to happen next.
For sure. Even when you think you know what's going on,
there's always something else.
Makes you think, about what it means to be in charge, to be the one making the tough decisions.
Yeah, Dragonflame and his friends, they've got this huge weight on their shoulders.
The fate of a whole dimension.
And they don't back down. It does a lot about their resilience. But, the story doesn't pretend it was easy.
There's always a cost.
Right. They handled the threat, but you can tell it took something out of them.
It's like, what's that saying? Victory has 1,000 fathers, but defeat is an orphan.
Yeah, I've heard that.
They got through it, but what they have to give up to get there? Did they have to make some impossible choice? Did it just drain them, emotionally? We don't really know.
And that's what makes this story stick with you. It's not all tied up in a neat bow. Acknowledges that even when you overcome something huge, there are still,
ripples. It's that feeling, that something's not quite right. Okay, they saved the day, but the story doesn't end all happy and triumphant. You're left with this unsettled feeling.
Definitely. And then there's that hint. that there's more going on than we can see on the surface. Whispers of doubt, those unseen forces, like the fight's not truly over.
So it really drives home the point, that piece. It's not some finish line you cross, is it? It's a journey, an ongoing process.
Not just about taking down the big bad, it's about tackling the root causes, the stuff that keeps the cycle going.
And that takes a different kind of strength, the strength to keep going, to keep asking questions, to keep working towards something better, even when you don't know what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
Makes you think, if you were suddenly dropped into this fifth dimension, what would you do? Would you be right there with Dragonflame, using magic and all that? Or maybe you'd be more like Claude, all about the data and the strategy?
Or maybe, just maybe, you'd find a totally different way to make a difference. We all have our own strengths, our own ways of seeing the world.
Exactly. The story reminds us that there are tons of ways to be a part of the solution, to make things a little bit better, and the world, even a fictional one, could use all the help it can get.
Couldn't agree more.
Whether you're dealing with a totally chaotic fifth dimension or just the everyday chaos of, well, life, the message is the same. Peace takes effort. It takes being open to different viewpoints and knowing that sometimes the journey is just as important as the destination.
I like that. The journey is just as important as the destination.
This has been a great deep dive, and hopefully it's got you thinking about peace, resilience, and just how powerful it can be when people work together. So until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep believing in the power of a good story.